How do we rationalize lying about stuff like this so frequently? Well, when people lie, they often justify it, consciously or unconsciously, by feeling that they are protecting the target of the lie and also protecting themselves, thinking that both they and the target would feel worse if truth had been told rather than the lie. In this way, lying is a form of pro-social behavior. Self-centered lies are lies that are told to protect the liar psychologically, like saving the liar from embarrassment or disapproval or conflict, or they're told for the liar's personal gain.
Oh, what kind of watch is that?
That's a Rolex. You can't look at it. Other oriented lies are kind of the opposite. They're also told for psychological protection, but to protect the target of the lie, not the liar. Now, trying to spare other people from embarrassment or disapproval, conflict, or from getting their feelings hurt. Oh, your baby is so cute. Now, maybe unsurprisingly, people are more likely to tell self-serving lies than lies that serve others. And people are more likely to tell self-serving lies to strangers or acquaintances, and they tell more protective, other-oriented lies to close friends and family. But from the liar's point of view, both of these are kind-hearted, altruistic actions. Like in your head, you're being nice by lying. Most lying isn't to manipulate and exploit people, no. Most common lies are to boost self-esteem or to protect people's feelings or to get people to like us more. According to psychologists, being honest all the time isn't always the best idea for strengthening social bonds, which is a lot to unpack. I mean, bring that up in your next therapy session and let me know how it goes. People do tell more serious lies, of course. Lies that have the potential to seriously harm relationships or that cover up fundamental parts of their identity or that even put others in danger. And whereas people are less likely to tell those small, self-serving lies to the people they're closest to, well, they're more likely to tell large, serious lies to people that they're closest to, which is messed up. But that's because those little lies you'd tell to strangers or acquaintances to save embarrassment or conflict, well, sharing those truths with people that we're closest to actually strengthens those relationships. I mean, you might tell a casual work friend you don't mind that they stole your best knock-knock joke, and then you go tell your partner that you actually do care. I mean, who's there? Hurt feelings, and you and your partner strengthen your bond over that. So psychologically, it's to our advantage not to lie about little stuff to people that we value. But because we value the people we're closest to, because those relationships mean so much to us, it actually makes it more likely that we'll tell them riskier or more serious lies, because there's a lot more to lose. It's easy to think of lying as absolutely wrong and worth condemning when we view it as a moral issue all on its own. But it isn't an issue that exists all on its own. We care about honesty, but we also care about love and happiness and not doing things that are painful or uncomfortable. We have to weigh all of these goals at the same time, and complete honesty doesn't always win over those other concerns. Maybe acknowledging that we care about other people's feelings, or that we're loyal to the people who depend on us, or that people's intentions are sometimes more important than their actions. Oh, that is a really great picture. I'm gonna hang that up in my office because I can tell what it is. I mean, maybe acknowledging those things can be the moral high ground sometimes. It's great when love and honesty coincide, but they don't always, because relationships are complicated. And being constantly uncomfortable in that moment between the two sides, I think maybe that keeps us working hard to make our relationships better. Besides these pro-social behaviors, there is another big way that people rationalize lying, and they don't do any of this consciously, by the way. They look for hints that lying is socially acceptable in that moment. So you remember that experiment with the math problems and the money? They did it again, except this time somebody stands up after like 30 seconds and loudly declares, "I solved all of them." They're obviously lying. If you think that this super liar is not like you, maybe they look different or they dress different, they aren't in your in-group, it'll actually make you act more honestly. You don't want to be like them. But if a person that's like you for whatever reason or identifier, if a person that's in your in-group lies and gets away with it, that increases the chance that you will lie too. Because that person sends a signal. Lying is socially acceptable. The key to making a lie work, even if you're lying to yourself, which again, we do a lot, is the person you're lying to can't spot the lie. But luckily for liars, which all of us are, we are really bad at spotting lies. Even professionals, interrogators, lawyers, among us Twitch streamers, they're lousy at lie spotting. And that's because we have a bias to believe that what other people tell us is generally true. Our default assumption is that we're not being lied to, even though we obviously get lied to all the time. So why do we err on the side of assuming that something is true? Well, at this point, it's useful to take a look at human history, like all the way back. The human brain took the form it has today about 150,000 years ago. We live a very different life than those ancestors, but we're using essentially the same hardware and most of the same software as Stone Age humans. Human brains did not evolve to be the greatest tool in the universe for the pursuit of truth. They only did what they had to do to survive. And surviving 100,000 years ago involved very different choices. Imagine you hear a predator sound in the grass. Even if it's the wind, 99 times out of 100, there's a big potential punishment for assuming that it's not a predator. You could die, but there's a low punishment and high reward for assuming that it is actually a predator. I mean, sure, you might be wrong, but you're alive because your default assumption was that what you think you heard was true. And the humans who didn't assume that got eaten. And our Stone Age mind is the one that survived, warts and all. But we are carrying that Stone Age mind through a very different world today. And some people aren't sure that that old school mind is cut out for the job. I mean, I'm probably not the only one wondering if lying is getting worse lately. I mean, we're on the internet right now, remember? Researchers did that math problem money experiment one more time. You do your math problems, timer goes off, shred your paper, report your answers. Only this time, first you get tokens. Then you take those tokens somewhere else over there to get the actual money. This bit of distance, the separation between the actual lie and the person that you are cheating and getting the reward from, it made people cheat twice as much. This is kind of scary. We're more distant from each other these days than ever before. It's easier to lie when you don't have to do it to someone's face. So is it just gonna get worse until no one tells the truth ever? I actually don't think so, because luckily, getting lied to really sucks. Primate researcher Franz de Waal once trained monkeys so that if they traded a token, they'd get some yummy cucumber. But if one monkey witnessed another monkey getting a free cucumber, the first monkey would throw food, and I don't know, probably throw poop too. The monkey that got lied to refused to cooperate until fairness was restored. So other animals agree, getting lied to or cheated sucks. And this is probably why social animals have to keep lying and cheating kind of under control. Because if you lie and deceive too often or too obviously, the rest of your species won't cooperate with you, and you have less chance of surviving and passing on your genes. But even if nature keeps lying from totally taking over, it isn't going anywhere. I mean, it seems pretty hopeless, huh? I mean, I'm a scientist. I'm in the truth business, and I want my business to succeed. Are we just doomed to lie and be lied to? Maybe not. Scientists did that experiment one more time with the math problems, timer, shredder, money. But before they started, they made the test subjects just promise not to cheat. And those people lied less, just by saying they weren't gonna lie. Because instead of letting your unconscious mind drive your behavior and all of the lying and cheating that leads to, your conscious mind weighs in. And that's enough to get you to lie less often. Maybe that's all that morals are, using our conscious mind, this amazingly powerful tool capable of imagining, capable of putting us into the footsteps and minds of others and experiencing the world from their perspective. Using this tool to control our actions instead of that silent, unseen, unconscious controller, the one that's willing to lie so much. I kind of love that we can succeed in that by doing that thing that only our species can do. By telling ourselves a story. I will strive for truth and try to be honest, and maybe we can all lie less. I hope that's true anyway. Stay curious. Here's one thing I can guarantee is 100% true, and that is how much I am thankful for everyone who supports the show on Patreon.